Let's go. Hey, the return. The return of the full lineup is here today. You know what I'm saying? The balance has been restored. Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy. My name is Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. And to my right, live and in person.
MAGA Miracle.
Oh, no. Didn't even give a chance to introduce herself. Wait a second.
Man, the newest member of Trump's legal team.
He's talking.
You know what? I'm not even about to.
How was your travels,
Miracle?
Miracle?
Not even about to even address this. It's your girl, Miracle. Big blessing with the big blessing.
Yes.
You know, I'm just here, turned up, ready to go, and having a good. Did you turn me down?
In the headphones.
Uh-oh.
I'm just balancing things out right now. That's all.
No, you're fine.
You're
Miracle.
fine.
You're absolutely
Your
fine.
microphone has not been touched.
Yes. We want to hear every.
You know, did you? I'm done. That was it. It's me.
Your travels were good.
They were.
Now
York.
you're turned down.
New York was
Hey,
not.
you know,
New
your
York was
lips a
nice.
little too dry to be talking to me that way. Okay, like, calm down.
Wow.
It's Ramadan.
Calm down.
Man, you know, we can't have no water.
She said there's no fasting on chapstick, my brother.
Listen, I got all the smoke. First of all, let's talk about how y'all tried to bully me when I wasn't here.
Oh, no.
I was the one that wanted to put
let's-
you in the show.
Let's do our introductions.
Yes. Okay.
Let's
then
get
get
through our
into that.
introductions.
Yes. We need the calming energy
You know what
of
I'm saying?
our brother Treble.
It's your boy Treble and NLS. Never like supremacy, next level shaman. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And
Nobody cares.
oh wow,
Niggas love
beef.
Saeed.
it's
Hey,
oh wow,
you
it's
know what I
beef.
mean?
It's beef already.
Man, you
He
know.
turned my mic down for no reason.
What's up, brother? You got an extra pair of sunglasses behind your computer just in case you have a sunglass malfunction? You gonna put them both on?
Niggas love shades.
Niggas double up.
Yeah, I can't do it like that.
Got
Yeah,
you.
I can't do it. I didn't know that was there, so thank
That's
you.
hilarious.
Yeah. Fasting for root. You know, the sweeter man.
Is that the first time you said your name? Like,
It might have been. It might have been.
Fasting for root, you know.
Yeah.
The Saeed, the sweeter man, you know,
Okay.
supreme Asiatic, intelligently divine, the Ramadan road man.
Yes. Welcome.
what
welcome.
else? I know you got more.
I'm good right now.
But it's interesting because you were at one point the MAGA Muslim, and now we have MAGA mix. So you all are twinning again. It's like y'all
I
are
guess.
twinning. Y'all are back to being twins. You know, and it is allegedly.
Allegedly,
right.
you know,
Allegedly.
no face, no case.
I think, you know, we definitely missed you last week.
We did miss
and-
you.
I almost had the poo shiesty today.
Oh wow!
But then I was like, too serious, not gonna like
Wow! That would have been pretty funny. Yes, I mean we did.
I was
you
this
know,
close.
I missed you because
this. You wanted to gloat in my face.
Yes, the day has finally come that you kept telling me.
What proof
would
do you
not
have that it came?
Oh wow! We do not have a mugshot.
What proof do you have that it came?
He was in court, and he to be
People
honest,
go to
like,
court for all the traffic tickets.
he looked timid in court. He looked timid. I mean, the only proof is really him attacking the judge and the and the DA even more.
calling Letitia Williams
When you
a
say
reverse racist.
proof, you talking about like pictures?
Yes,
Because there was no video.
I'm curious if Georgia will make him.
Oh, he's going to prison in Georgia.
I'm just saying. I wonder will
Can
they
he
make
still get
him do
federal
the
charges
perp
brought
war?
against him?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah, but I don't think
so.
Biden wants to.
They're investigating federal charges right now. So
I mean, I said
yeah.
from early that Biden would pardon him. If he gets convicted on a federal level, Biden would pardon him.
I mean, at the time you said it, I thought there's no way, but it seems like if there is something intelligent to do, the Biden administration will do the opposite. I've never seen anybody mishandle.
Like, how can we make this
How can we
worse?
make this situation worse? It seems like when they approach
Joe
it,
Biden's like, I got it. Let's invite LSU and Iowa
I mean,
to the White House.
Just Lord have mercy. So this has been a pretty racist week. I mean, you know, sometimes we come in here and it's like, mild racism, you know. It was a 60-degree day of racism, right? It was mild racism, you know, you just maybe needed a light coat to protect yourself against white supremacists. Last week was like 40 below racism. It's like, hey, yo.
Is racism hot or cold?
I'm saying cold just because I dislike cold and I love it when it's warm.
Okay.
So yeah, it was 40 below. It was put your Timbs on, put your North Face on racism last week.
Okay.
And it's really a thing of where if we had a theme song today, and I don't know if we're allowed to play licensed music. We're not. I mean, we're on TV
but
now.
But we can sing it a cappella.
Yes. Well, if you're ready, I mean, if we had a theme song,
Trouble, you ready?
it would be the song "Mask Off."
Ready?
Okay.
By
Mask
Future.
on.
Fuck it, mask off.
Woo! Okay. All right. Yeah. Because, like, right now, what we're seeing is, and I think it started with, Big T, Donald Trump.
Teflon Trump.
He took the mask of civility off. He just said, forget civility. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you exactly who I am. I'm going to talk big, arrogant racism directly to your face. I'm going to talk sexism to your face.
I'm going to make a post on True Social that says World War III.
On Easter.
With no context.
On Easter. Right? Not only has
People
he
just trying
risen.
to quietly eat a chocolate bunny.
Not only has he risen, he pressed send.
Just nibbling on one of those little peeps. And here comes World War III in your face on Easter Sunday.
I wonder if Trump was eating white chocolate or, did he
That's funny.
or was he like the orange carrots? Well, those are white chocolates too. So, I mean.
And did he go to church that morning? But I'm saying
Probably with his Bible held upside down.
Oh, shit.
Remember that shit? he stood in front of the church with the Bible upside down. Yeah.
But I mean, really, and to me, it's he unleashed this wave of these white right-wing Republicans basically saying, we don't care how it looks anymore. We're just going to be openly racist and let you know we're racist, we're white supremacists.
I would rather that, though.
You can't do anything about it. Fuck you, to your face. And it started this week in Tennessee where... And I mean, what other place, right? One of the most, I think the birth of the Klan was in Tennessee, I believe.
Correct, yeah.
And so Tennessee had a mass shooting last week in a school.
Yes.
Children died in the school. And of course, Tennessee right Republican leadership's response was, we can't do anything about it. They're not going to ban guns. They're not going to put any restrictions on assault weapons or guns. Their response is like, hey, let's arm the teacher. Like this
Put
teacher,
more guns. Let's throw more guns at the guns.
This teacher making $30,000 an hour to like
$30,000 a year.
a year, yeah, definitely not an hour. That's
some Ben Roethlisberger shit.
That's Elon Musk's salary. $30,000 a year, and now to like break up fights and all of these things they have to do as teachers, and now you want to give them a gun to try to stop some. You know what I mean?
Can I talk about that real fast?
Sure.
As a former educator, like the level of stress that you endure in your classroom, right? These teachers don't have the greatest mental health stability.
Yeah.
They don't have the greatest access to mental health resources. So you mean to tell me you want a teacher who already is threatening children, not saying in this specific school, but teachers in general, that spew expletives and curse children and are upset dealing with all the pressure of being an educator, dealing with hundreds of children a day. You want that individual to have a gun in the desk when your class might be rambunctious or something like that. I just wonder how long it's going to take a teacher to pull it out and be like, yo, everybody shut the fuck up.
Right.
And be like,
absolutely.
On the kids.
And then this is another thing, because there's like a mass shooting every hour, right?
Right.
There was a mass shooting yesterday in Louisville. At a bank. The bank had armed guards.
Yeah.
So we've seen situations where there were armed guards or even armed security. Come on, man. In Uvalde, these dudes had all types of weapons and body armor, and they stood there
and just let it
for
play
hours
out.
and let somebody continue to go classroom to classroom shooting. So if the police are saying, man, these AR-15s are too powerful, we don't even want to put ourselves. Now you want this teacher who is not being. You don't want to pay them what teachers are worth just to teach.
Yeah.
Now you want to give them a job to now somehow just some random teacher is going to get a gun and protect your children. So the people in Tennessee organized a protest led mostly by high school students. And joining in the protests were 3 elected officials, Justin Jones, he's a Democrat from Nashville.
Justin Pearson from Memphis.
And
Gloria Johnson.
I'm not sure where Gloria Johnson is from, but you should know the story by now. But if you don't, Justin Jones, the Justins are black.
Yeah.
And Gloria is white. And so,
which is wild. With a name like Gloria Johnson, you would not expect a white woman. I know I didn't. I like seriously until I read the story. I was like, yo,
Gloria Johnson go make a fire sweet potato pie.
I'm about to say her mac and cheese, sweet potato pie, and probably peach cobbler off the chain.
And now we find out it might have raisins.
Come on, that's cold. That's me. So they stood. So the Tennessee body that is controlled by the Republicans took a huge step and said, because they helped to organize this protest.
A huge step in which direction, Jasiri?
A huge step in...
Backwards or forward?
Definitely backwards. Definitely backwards. But a huge step in a big pile of racist dog shit. For real. Because they chose to not just censor them for their actions, but actually expel... And they voted to expel all three of these Democrats that stood with these children protesting. And if you could guess which ones got expelled and which ones didn't.
Can I guess? May I guess?
Sure.
Gloria Johnson.
It did not get expelled. Correct.
Wow.
Gloria remained as the white woman, and Justin, the two Justins, were both expelled. They both were kicked out. And as clear as they could show us, this was about black people. And to be honest, when Justin Pearson showed up in that dashiki on his first day, I was like, oh, they about to get rid of that. Remember that?
He came one smoke. Yeah, I remember that.
He came one and they about to get rid of him. So I'm coming to you, Miracle. I don't know if you're emailing Donald Trump right now. I see your hands. I don't know who you're communicating with.
Yes.
Mid-show. What is your, when you saw Tennessee basically take this step to expel the two outspoken black men that were representatives and taking the huge step to say, we don't care that they were elected by the people that they're there to represent. We're going to expel them for our house for breaking the rules of civility. How did you feel?
So I actually was watching it live with a bunch of people digitally who were watching this happen.
Right.
Because I know a lot of organizers in Tennessee, and we were like, they're probably not going to expel them. This is just them trying to publicly humiliate them.
Right.
And then as you watch the proceedings, you saw the absolute vitriol that these men had for the Justins, and it became abundantly clear that they were going to do everything in their power to expel them and kick them out. Now, mind you, Justin Pearson had already had issues because he was the representative that had the dashiki and the afro.
Yes.
And they had already told him that he may need to find another place of employment.
On day one. They told him on day one.
That this may not be the place for him and his natural hair and dashiki. And so it was very frustrating to watch. And it was a clear picture of what happens when people forget that they are themselves under a microscope and that people are actually watching them. Now, they were expelled for breaking the rules because they came down to the well, which is like the podium, and were rallying at the podium and talking to the organizers who were in the room. I always relate this back to 2020 when our legislative Black Caucus had to storm the rostrum here in Pennsylvania for the very same reasons that our Republican-led legislature was refusing to have conversations on bills, refusing to let bills out of committee, and refusing to have a floor vote on bills. And this is what has to happen for Black and brown people to even have a taste of power. You literally have to protest.
Right.
You literally have to disrupt because people will not give you, even when you're in the same room, even when you're at the same table, even when you have the same position, will not give you the opportunities to do the same exact job. And so it was very frustrating, but I'm glad that people were watching what was happening in Tennessee because it just showed you that the power of the people are greater than the people in power. Absolutely. And now that one Justin's back and Gloria's back and we have another Justin.
Well, Gloria never got kicked out.
Correct.
And that was part of the, the narrative was like Gloria made it as a white woman, but the two black men to make it worse. The only two people that got kicked out were the black people.
Correct. And it was very funny. So if you were watching it, when they were doing the presentation, they were talking about how Gloria had been targeted by the Speaker of Tennessee, Speaker Saxton, because she did not vote for him for Speaker. So he took her office away and put her in a closet. Like literally was putting her through the ringer, was refusing to acknowledge her, and that was the whole
office space.
That was the whole issue with the protest is you cannot just speak on the floor. You have to be acknowledged and recognized. Right. And he would not acknowledge and recognize the Justins, and he was turning off their mic so they could not speak.
Oh, wow.
And that is why they walked down during recess to make a statement. It's like, we're here in the house, the people's house. You have to hear the people. So.
Yeah. Trouble?
Man, I just think it's weird how they got expelled for exercising a right that we all have.
Absolutely. Well, that's what Dewey though, and that's kind of was the thing. This is their First Amendment right to protest, to complain, to talk about what we feel we need to change. But it seems like, and we've seen it, from the time we've been protesting on down. That does it apply to us?
That's facts.
Yeah,
and it's like it's just showing that no matter what position we're in, no matter how much power we have, they will find some way to show us exactly where they think we stand in society.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I'm looking at this Washington Post article, and I've been reading it, and I think it's funny that there's this irony in here that white supremacy is alluded to have a dark history. I think that's just like very
a dark presence.
Yeah, some dark roots of white supremacy. I think that's a very interestingly worded sentence. Yeah. But I also think that, like you had mentioned, this being the birthplace of the KKK, these actions happening show why it's important to have a theory that talks about race.
Yes.
It shows why it's important to have
why
history.
Why don't these laws apply to us?
Yeah,
I wonder if anybody ever studied that.
Yeah, they say we talk about this all the time on here. It's either me or Miracle always saying this. Those who are not familiar with the history are doomed to repeat it. And I don't even think it's history at any point in this context. It's just literally reliving the same day over and over again. It's like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Over and over again. And I think it's like, but as I said earlier in the show, I appreciate the fact that these white supremacists are just so unabashed with their white supremacy.
Right.
I do appreciate that on the level. It's like that lets me know where you stand. But at the same time, when you are the legislating and governing body that does not allow for democracy as it is intended to prevail, that's when it becomes insidious. That's when it becomes predatory, because now you're admonishing black people for speaking out, and you're admonishing people who are speaking out about young people being killed, children being killed in the schools, and you're still trying to silence them as if it just doesn't happen, or it has no, there's no recompense for it. So that shit is just wild to me.
Yeah, it also was interesting to me. It really, I guess, and you mentioned, Miracle, that the idea was for them to humiliate these black men, and it actually flipped on them.
Right.
And to me, they were humiliated, particularly, a lot of stuff I didn't know. When Justin Jones was up there saying like, yo, y'all had a child molester up in here. He wasn't expelled. Y'all got...
Yeah. He went in. Yeah,
here's somebody on, two people that were being under federal investigation. They're not expelled. Here's somebody that was charged with domestic violence. They're not expelled. So he really began to pull off that, cover on them. It was also fascinating to hear, they asked I want to say, I think it was Justin Jones as well. They made it seem like they had like some type of black magic control over the crowd. Like that, you know, and it was like, well, what do you mean when you say no justice, no peace? And I thought his answer was so powerful. And he talked about, well, Martin Luther King said true peace is not merely the absence of tension, it's the presence of justice. And what it means to have the presence of justice. So to me, both of them showed their intellect. They showed, you know, they like came with it. That if this was, you almost needed like the 8 Mile music to be playing over there.
What, Shook Ones?
Because they went down in there. No, I'm talking about the doom, Mom Spaghetti. Because they went in there and it was like a battle. And clearly, you know, Justin Jones won. He's back now. We're waiting to hear about Justin Peterson. They said Justin Jones actually was in the elevator with the guy, the whatever white lawmaker that started this process. And Justin said, he looked at him and said, you know, how you feel now?
Yeah.
And the guy, it's like you made Justin, they made the Justins and Gloria martyrs in a sense. They made them like national, international figures and representatives of justice and made them immensely more popular than they were before.
They said that within the 5 days that this debacle has happened, the Tennessee Democrats have raised the most money they've ever had. They've had the most support they have ever had. And people, you know, for me, I love politics and it's so messy.
Yes.
But now people are like spilling all of the secrets from all of these like Republican legislatures, like talking about they're having affairs. They're like maybe funneling funds.
Yes.
We now know that the speaker doesn't even live in district. So he technically should be expelled himself. There's like so many things happening because of this. And the truth is they didn't have to do anything. They could have basically put this before the ethics committee, did a little complaint. They could have done a little investigation and censured them, but we would have had no idea. But because they were so impassioned about making this point and telling these students that we're not going to hear you and we're not going to hear you, protect you, or fight for you, they have really made these people martyrs. And I wrestle with how we elevate people in politics, but I've been very happy that the Justins have stayed on message. And for me, coming from the South, I love it when people use Christianity to fight for justice. And for Justin's speech, Justin Pearson, he talks about how his Christian faith helps him fight for queer people, helps him fight for poor people, helps him fight against corporate greed. And the cool thing about the no justice, no peace, Justin Jones was talking about how that chant comes from Jeremiah. Like they have literally been able to tap into this almost right-wing takeover of Christianity and have been like, nah, that's our religion and we're taking this back.
Absolutely.
So not only politically,
especially during Easter.
Come
on.
Like Justin's speech, like I'm one of the most a-religious people.
You was hyped?
I was hyped. I was like, Sunday comes. Yes, Justin. We don't know how long Saturday is, and we know there is a Sunday. And I was like, you know what? Yes, sir.
And it's wild because I don't know if it was 3 days, but then Justin came back, right?
Man, listen.
Justin came back.
He has risen.
Had the whole crowd with him, you know. Tamika and Until Freedom and a lot of national organizers were there behind him. But I thought this was also interesting about Justin Pearson, is that we learned that he represents Memphis, that they also threatened that if he was reappointed to his position, that, you know, people in Tennessee said we're going to take money away from Memphis. It said there's a proposed $350 million renovation of FedEx Forum where the Memphis Grizzlies play, and they basically said they're going to hold state funding for these projects. And so again, it's taking the mask off of this is actually what's going on. So you're telling us, and we talked about this when we saw what happened with Mississippi, right? We elect somebody. You tell us we have the right to vote. We organize, we elect somebody. So we organize, we elect somebody, And now all of a sudden it's illegitimate, right? And it began, right? We organized, folks organized, we elected Joe Biden over Donald Trump. Oh, that was false. That didn't happen. All these black people cheated. That was wrong. You know, people in Mississippi elected our brother Chokwe Lumumba. Now all of a sudden they decide to take half of his city away and power away and district away, the most economically profitable. Now it's like we elect Justin Pearson. We want him to go in there with a dashiki. We want him to go in there and represent us in our community. That's why we elected this powerful young man. Now it's like, oh, if he's reappointed, we're going to take money we're going to punish you all.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Was Justin Pearson channeling Nancy Pelosi?
Absolutely not. Because Nancy Pelosi, there was no risk for her.
I don't understand the question.
Remember Nancy Pelosi put on the
dashiki and she came in.
It wasn't a dashiki. She put on a kente cloth.
She had a kente cloth.
They all took a knee in 2020. That was a press thing. Justin Pearson was letting them know.
No, absolutely.
I'm coming in the spirit of my ancestors.
You killed my joke, Miracle. Thanks.
I don't appreciate your joke.
I got an afro and a dashiki.
For an explanation.
Yes.
Don't do my Justin like that.
Don't leave our Justins alone, man.
My only question is
yes.
So if their argument is that, electing the Justins was illegitimate, then why didn't they give that same smoke to Trump when he was hiring all these unqualified people to fill his cabinet and shit like that?
I mean, because he represents the white supremacy. Trump is really the king of white supremacy in the United States right now. He is there, he's the prince.
The president of
that one guy calls himself the Prince of Pan Africa.
No. Y'all know.
Trump is the Prince of white supremacy. Trump is King Kong white supremacy.
Yo, listen. Big Kofi and Big Chupe about to come together.
Oh, snap.
Are you done?
But I mean, and
Did you get your chuckle? Did you get your laugh?
You can argue they have a lot in common. I
was saying that this weekend, it's the same. It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. Since now we're on this subject, they are very much the same. They talk the same.
Yeah,
they do.
They use the same repetitive strategies.
Right.
They push the same false conspiracies.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah, so
scammers know each other.
I mean, hey, you're right. And I think just to go on about kind of this.
The Prince of Pan-Africanism and the Warden of White Supremacy.
They're going to meet up. But just to talk about how, and I think what's happening is, like you said, what white supremacy and what in America is what they do is if you don't, and this is really about them assimilating into this, their idea of what civility is, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't care if your police kill us and we don't get justice. It doesn't care if kids are dying and you don't want to ban guns. That's not, they don't look at that as uncivil, right? Mm-hmm. But they wanted, brother didn't want to, they told him on day one, oh, you have to wear a suit and tie in here. There's a way you have to act. There's a way you have to carry yourself because they want you to, assimilate into this white supremacist structure. If you're not willing to do that, now we're going to punish you. Similar things to me are happening in Texas, where you had a Black Lives Matter protest happening.
And this is eerily similar to Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Well, I would say this is actually farther because in Kenosha, Wisconsin, when Kyle Rittenhouse, he went to trial, of course, now when Kyle Rittenhouse was on trial, that judge basically was it was like an extra lawyer for him.
Absolutely.
That judge supported him, took selfies and pictures and smiled with him, did everything
granted
he could
him every courtesy in the court
to make sure he was found not guilty.
Everything, yeah.
In this case, you have a man named Daniel Perry who, before the protest, the day of the protest, went on his own Facebook talking about he wanted to kill people. He wanted to kill protests. Drives to the protest, drives into protesters in his car. And this is Texas, so there were people who were protecting the protest. One of them had a gun. You know what I'm saying? And
because it's Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas. He didn't break no laws. You're allowed to have a gun.
Absolutely.
He had an automatic weapon. Daniel Perry shot and killed that man. There's video of him saying, I wasn't going to give him an opportunity to raise his gun. So he's telling you, if in legal language, he wasn't threatened yet.
Yeah.
If he didn't give him an opportunity to point his gun, he's not a threat. He was unanimously found guilty of murder. This is what makes it different from
Isn't it premeditated at that point? Yeah.
I mean, if you, that's what I would say. I don't think he was found guilty of first degree murder, but he was found guilty unanimously. A trial of his peers, all of that bullshit that they tell us, and now the governor of Texas is saying, as soon as this hits his desk, he is going to pardon this man.
That's wild,
right? Doesn't matter what the court system says. This is what I'm saying. Like, you tell us, all we have to do is abide by the system. And if we just abide by the system, we just pull up bootstraps up and just do everything white supremacy tells us to do, we'll be okay. And then, but for them, this is when if you've ever watched this show and you said like,
if you haven't, hi, welcome to This Week in White Supremacy.
If you're watching it like racism really don't exist, this is what we're talking about. Could you imagine some black person, think about this. Think about a black person, right? Showing up at a Trump rally with a gun and shooting a Trumper that, most of them are armed. And then imagine some black governor basically saying like, oh no, we're going to pardon you. These white folks would lose their damn mind.
Absolutely.
Oh,
but this is how the laws are not for them. The laws are for black and brown and poor people and people that they don't agree with. So they're telling us off top. So Miracle, is this, I don't know, is this a legal precedent? I don't remember ever seeing anything where a jury unanimously finds somebody guilty of murder and a governor saying, I'm going to pardon this man, like as soon as possible, I'm going to pardon this person. Please tell us, Miracle, educate us.
No, and yes, governors have the right to pardon people.
This isn't a precedent.
No.
Oh, this has happened before.
Can I answer?
I'm sorry. Can you shut the fuck up, nigga? I'm sorry. Please go, Miracle.
The announcement itself is a precedent, yes.
Okay.
Governors have the right to pardon people and ask for pardons. What makes this very interesting is he did it the day that the conviction was announced.
Yes.
Usually people will say, we respect the decision of the courts, yada, 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 and go from there. And we'll maybe make a phone call 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. He's basically saying, as soon as possible, I want this man pardoned. And it makes it very interesting because there have been innocent people executed in the state of Texas under his watch that he did not feel the need to pardon or to give a second chance or to follow up on. And the fact that he's like, oh, I have this power that I've always had and now I'm exercising it in this case where this white man was murdered fighting for black people, it's going to show you that the Republican conservative ideology is going to move towards murder and attacking and assaulting people.
Absolutely.
And they're trying to find loopholes in this legal system in order to basically kill us and not get in trouble. And this reminds me of in Georgia, we had the case with Mark Wilson. He was a black man who was literally chased in his own car and had to defend himself. People were literally calling him slurs, and he got sentenced to 10 years in prison because the judge was like, I don't care what they called you, what they did. You still killed a white person, 100%. And I'm going to make you serve a sentence. And to juxtapose that with this case is this man drove to the protest again, like Kyle Rittenhouse, premeditatedly said, I want to kill somebody.
Yes.
With their arm, with the intention of having a confrontation. And everyone saw it. Everyone watched. Yep. The evidence showed that he was not in fear for his life, that this was not a stand your ground case, that this was not a self-defense case, and that's why he's convicted. And because these conservatives are so angry that they're being held accountable for their actions, we now have these governors who have these supermajorities because of gerrymandering doing these dumbass decisions. Doing these stupid decisions. And it's going to...
You said it right.
It's waking people up. But my fear is that before they get out of office, it's going to create basically a very violent situation for so many people in the next couple of years.
I agree.
And that's what I'm afraid of.
And so just to quote, he went on his Facebook page, Daniel Perry, and said he might kill a few people on the way to work. They are rioting outside my apartment complex. A friend responded, "Can you legally do so?" He replied, "If they attack me or try to pull me out of my car, then yes." So he literally predicted what he was going to do, drove to there to get in some type of engagement, and then kill somebody. Do you all have any comments?
That's a manifesto.
I'm thinking to myself, like, how much higher the stakes would feel if I posted some shit like that on my Facebook.
Oh, bro, you wouldn't even get to the protest, man. Like, they be outside of your house like, there's a trouble in us here.
And when I juxtapose that to how safe he felt posting that shit freely, openly,
yes,
it's just like, that shit's wild, because he knows. It's like these people try to act like racism doesn't exist, but know that this shit protects them when they leave their crib.
Paul Mooney, the comedian, would say he had the complexion for the protections.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That is right. But this is also why when we protest, it is so important that you listen to the organizers, because a lot of people come to protest, to disrupt protests, specifically for this very reaction, because they want you to swing on them. That way they can like hurt you, kill you, shoot you, and then try to go get these book tours, try to become a Fox News darling. And it's not working so far in his case. He has ordered the people to do the pardon, but they don't have to listen to him. Okay. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because this does set a very weird precedent of, now you got this person off, then you need to get all these other people off.
Well, I don't see it as that. I see the precedent as more so, if I agree with your politics, then what the actual jury of your peers says does not matter. Because if I agree with your politics and I believe what you did was in the right, do whatever you got to do. Yeah. Similar to, when I remember being at the protest the week after Kyle Rittenhouse was lionized and made a icon of these right wingers, and feeling very unsafe. Remember? We were in Squirrel Hill, and like the security being really tight. Us being we had to come up with a plan. If they start to shoot, this is how we're going to move. This is how we're going to get out of this situation from a security standpoint, right? And so to me, this just ups the ante in terms of they're letting you know. They're letting like angry white men know, oh yeah, you can go shoot up these protests. Like, we have your back. Like, we have your back. Don't worry about no jail time. Even if they convict you unanimously, the trial was 8 days. This wasn't no big, long deliberation. We got your back. Saeed?
I want to know where all this Facebook monitoring is when these white people say shit like this.
Facts, though.
You know what I mean? Like, when they post these statuses,
they don't give a damn.
Like, you know what I mean? Like Trump was saying it. Imagine me saying that.
Of course. I mean,
my September 11th name.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, that's the double standard, right? Yeah. Your page will be locked down immediately, right? Why wasn't his page locked down? Who's watching this? Who's talking this? But the fact that you can have this, you can have him in his own words saying, I didn't give this dude a chance to raise his gun, and still a governor of basically saying, nah, I got you. Yeah. You one of us. You with us. And this is similar.
It's like the Wild West.
Right.
It's like they deputized him just to shoot people. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it's like.
But it's similar to me also to the indictment of Donald Trump. Right?
Absolutely.
Because like when it's us, you shouldn't have broke the law, nigga. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't have done that, right? You knew that was right. Even if we're like breaking the law in protest, right? Like Dr. King and them did. They did things in protest sit-ins or whatever. Oh, you should get arrested. You shouldn't have broke the law. Why? Oh, you get mass incarcerated? Oh, that wouldn't happen if you just didn't break the law. But then when Donald Trump breaks the law.
Take it a step further. They even feel like we deserve to die for breaking the law.
100%.
Right,
yeah. 100%. And so like, now here's Donald Trump, who broke the law. 34 felony charges. Not one. Not 2.
10?
Not 10.
20?
Not 20.
What about 30?
No. 34. Not 34 misdemeanors. 34 felonies.
That was funny. That was a good one.
That threw me off. They said
34
he could get
a felony.
Right. He could get 4 years. I think they said 4.5 for each felony.
Yeah,
right?
like a total 136 years.
Yeah,
in
he
prison.
can get 130, and it's like that. I mean, well, obviously, Miracle. I mean, you probably looked over the briefs, right? You have your defense.
Yeah. I mean, what's your team asking for?
His level of culpability does not meet the requirements for a consecutive sentence.
Okay, right. So he's probably not going to get that. But I'm saying, like, there's never where's the don't break the law, folks? It's like, it's cool.
I mean, you see,
it was 7 years ago. Let it go.
Like when he said, no,
Miracle. Where is the law and order? You broke the law. You should be held accountable. Where are those white folks? But that it's for us, because let's best believe it. We broke the law 7 years ago, and they charged us. They will be clapping. Yo, you shouldn't have broke the law, nigga. It's statute of limitations. It's still blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? How come that doesn't work for them?
Because they're white.
100%.
Now, I think also it's very important to talk about Greg Abbott in the context of white supremacy has to protect itself and its supporters to keep white supremacy alive.
That is true.
Until
That's a great point.
they don't need you anymore. So white supremacy protects and then it spits out. We call that the elasticity of white supremacy because Greg Abbott's doing this for this man. He hasn't done that for some of these January 6 people. He hasn't done that for some of these other folks in his own state. So it's going to be really interesting to see how people respond. This isn't the win he thinks it is. And Texas is open carry. And people have to understand that Democrats, liberals, progressives do have guns themselves.
True. But we don't have the protection of the law. Correct. We don't have protection of the highest person in office. And to me, it's similar to Tennessee, right? They probably more than likely knew that they were going to lose ultimately. Like you said, Governor Abbott probably knows that he's not going to be able to win this pardon, or maybe he doesn't. But it's a message. Like you said, it's sending a message, oh, no. We're not going to let these niggas come up in here in this courthouse with they dashikis and afros and start talking shit, right? It's sending a message. Oh, no, you can, Black Lives Matter protest, shoot away, right? It's a message to keep, like you said, to let these white supremacists know we got your back, we're going to support you. And that the laws don't apply to you. I mean, think about this. And I don't mean to keep bringing up Trump Miracle. I know it's slightly sensitive.
You gotta go.
Tell me this, Miracle. Can you ever remember, and I'm asking really all of y'all, somebody openly threatening the DA and the judge of their own case?
That's what I'm shocked about.
Right. So much so that they just, I just saw this thing that came across my Twitter that they're saying in his civil court, in the civil trial, they're actually going to say the jury should be anonymous. And the reason that they gave because of him threatening the DA, him threatening the judge and talking about the judge's family. And we're like cool with that. And this is what's so wild. It's like we're good in America with that. Oh, you have something you want to play?
Position not taking the Fifth Amendment would be a fool.
Oh, my goodness.
An absolute fool.
If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
Shit like that.
I see. If I was a prosecutor, I would be collecting all this information and then posting a obstruction of justice type charge in the future for him and his sons. Yes. Because when you are accused of a crime, you and your agents, your friends, your family members get the same instruction. Like, y'all cannot threaten a judge. Y'all cannot threaten witnesses. Y'all cannot speak about the case. The same instruction goes for him. And so I'm very curious about what's going to come down in 6 months, because you're talking about the judge's family. Yeah. And that is strictly prohibited.
Right.
Judges basically are almost untouchable.
Yeah.
And you can threaten whatever, the DA, people, the judges, nah. So I would be very surprised if within 6 months him and his sons do not have some additional charges coming down their way.
I mean, have his sons been charged at all or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah.
Well, apparently, Miracle, not all judges are untouchable. Apparently, a Supreme Court Justice. Speaking of our Terry Crews, we might have to rename our Terry Crews of the week to our Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Uncle Thomas?
Clarence Thomas of the week. Clarence Thomas.
He missed that.
Apparently, Clarence Thomas has, what would you say?
Clarence Uncle Thomas.
Clarence. Wow, that is great. Come on, man. Give yourself a bomb for that. Clarence Uncle Thomas. I will call him that from now on.
You got it. Come on.
And I didn't know this, Miracle. I didn't know that judges had to disclose if they're giving gifts, right? Because the judge's supposed to be impartial, right? That's why we have the black robe on, and it's all this pomp and circumstance. Clarence Thomas wasn't, I guess he didn't feel that. Clarence Thomas had a billionaire friend, and him and his billionaire friends is getting on private jets, and they're going to private islands.
And what are they collecting?
Well, Clarence isn't collecting it.
Do we know that for sure?
We don't know. But apparently, his billionaire friend is a guy named Harlan Crow. Harlan Crow.
That sounds like an amazing villain's name.
It definitely sounds like a super villain. Harlan Crow. It would be like, come on, that's who's Iron Man's fighting this nigga?
Harley Quinn.
Yeah. So Harlan Crow.
That's such a good name to be evil.
For the past 20 years, has been giving this dude, and he's a big, mega Republican donor. Gives to all of these Republican causes and all of this stuff. They've been on private planes, private islands. Clarence Thomas hasn't disclosed any of these trips like he's supposed to. This is like a flagrant violation of the law. But also, when you go to Harlan Crow's house, he has a lot of Nazi memorabilia there.
No.
Including paintings of Hitler. Like,
oh, shit.
Not paintings of Hitler. Paintings Hitler painted.
Oh.
Like, oh, you like this painting right there? Guess who did it? Oh, that's a Hitler 102.
Wow.
What?
Man.
He has a signed copy of Mein Kampf.
Interesting.
And they tried to say, oh, he collects things he hates. What?
That's fascinating.
If you're going to get a signed copy, when have you ever said, yo, I want a signed copy of a book from a nigga I hate?
You know what I mean? Like, if you hate it, then donate it to a museum or something. You know what I mean?
Apparently, it is a museum.
His
That's
house.
even scarier.
His house.
That's even scarier.
He has
forks, napkins.
Yes.
Like that. When you think of like
forks that Hitler used?
Yes, it's from the Third Reich.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nazi medallion, swastika, and he has linens. Swastika linen.
What's the thread count on them?
Hey, yo,
Are they Egyptian?
Could you imagine if you go in the guest room, you go to lay down, you pull the covers back? Oh, shit. What the fuck?
Man.
Swastikas, linens?
Swaddled by swastikas.
It's weird. I don't understand it, and I'm
sorry.
I don't understand.
The hate hugs you so good.
But people do collect these things. I know, like Oprah has one of the largest, like pre-Civil War.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Oprah had some
not Nazi stuff,
yeah.
but she has stuff about like the way like black people were, depicted before Civil War. Right. So people do collect it, but I don't think Harlan Crow is Jewish.
No.
Right? And I don't think he's doing... I don't think he has an attachment to say, like, this is what it was like before.
Right.
I could understand, like, maybe a uniform or some political sayings, but like the linens,
the linens,
towels,
the napkins.
Like, I don't get it.
Right. This
You
nigga
know?
has nifty linen swastikas.
Yes, man.
Like that's what I'm like.
That's next level
and
shit.
And apparently he has in his backyard. In his backyard, he has a garden of evil.
Whoa.
Where he has statues of people like Joseph Stalin and
Mussolini. Please tell me he has Mussolini.
Vladimir Lenin. It doesn't say
Lenin.
Mussolini. Lenin, Stalin, some other folks, a Yugoslavian dictator. Because when he drinks his coffee, he likes to sit.
See, I would understand this.
Feel the evil. Just feed on it. Feed on the evil. Then he goes out into the world.
But this is at his personal residence.
Yes, this is at his house.
That's what makes it creepy. Because if this was like a walking tour where you could like walk through the Garden of Evil and somebody is teaching you about
Harlan Crow's Garden of Evil,
right? And somebody is teaching you about
10-episode arc,
the horrors of history.
Yes,
Harlan's
horrors.
Right? I could understand that, but like this is at his personal house. He's collecting this stuff, but then also funding all this super alt-right policies that basically replicate all the things.
Right.
What Gil Scott-Heron say?
Yes.
Home is where the hatred is.
100. Yo, I'm on fire right now. Home is where the hatred
is. But be that as it may, the issue is that Thomas did not feel the need to report.
He did not.
Any of this lavish lifestyle that was bestowed on him by this billionaire until this article was like, they fly him out all the time. Yes,
he's getting flown out.
And speaking of flying,
that's the true flued out right there. Like, I don't know what the city girls were doing.
This is what his comment was.
Uh-oh.
His statement.
Was it yelled in German?
No. No, this is Clarence Thomas.
Oh.
He said he was told he didn't need to report this sort of personal hospitality and that he will adhere to new judicial guidelines in the future.
New judicial guidelines, new rules.
Some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, again, we know this is how you do. You were the one. Again, it wouldn't matter if he came off as an impartial justice. Mm-hmm. But he's obviously, the dude was trying to get Donald Trump elected, his wife and him.
Jenna.
And he's arguing for, Trump's election. So if he wasn't always arguing on the side of these right-wing fascist type of laws, it would be like, oh, it doesn't matter. He's an impartial dude, but he's clearly not.
Yeah, because he actually made the rule on the ruling that said that these type of things aren't, problematic.
Yeah.
I just wish it wasn't Clarence Thomas who has to push all these ethical rules to their actual utmost limits. Now we have to have rules like, do judges have to disclose that their partners are politically active, that they're raising millions of dollars, that they're busing people to protest, all because of Clarence Thomas. Right, and it's just like Clarence.
But he's the other side of the Justins, right? He's that other side. He's that black dude that said, I'ma just do whatever it is y'all say. I'ma be that black face that carries on white supremacy. Whenever we talk about white supremacy, white people feel like, oh, you're attacking us specifically. No, Clarence is with y'all too. Clarence is on the front line of white supremacy. He's doing a lot of work to this day. So he's also, there's also, again, that's a sign. It's a sign when you take Clarence Thomas on the private jet and go to the billionaires that, oh, there's a place for you too, black person, if you do exactly what we say.
They'll even bury him in the Garden of Evil when he dies.
Get him his own statue in the Garden of Eden.
Put old Uncle Clarence Thomas out to the
I don't know. Now, again, I would feel as a black person, if I went into a white person's house
and just seen
I turn the corner. Hey, where's the bathroom at? Oh, not in that room. And you turn the light on and you see a bunch of swastikas.
Make a run at the Eagle. Keep going past that.
I'm gonna feel my safety is threatened.
It's like, get out.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell,
man.
And and I have been finding myself in places where, like,
yes, you did. You found yourself at a plantation one time.
True. Because of, like, the art scene, and you do, like, have to be like, what is the meaning behind?
Yeah. I'm sure
this piece.
I'm sure when you were in Trump Tower, you had a couple of questions.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Donald, why do you have this?
He just has gold-plated toilets.
Oh, is that his thing?
But I can't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, if you walk by, you see like a Sambo. Like, you're like, what are you going to do? Like, leave?
Yeah,
it's just
100%.
Right now.
100%. So I think we
were talking about flights, and I would like to highlight our Black excellence.
Oh, yes. Our Black
Because
excellence. Well, would you like to highlight our Black excellence?
I would, actually.
Because I thought that this would actually make you mad.
It doesn't make me mad. It doesn't make me mad.
It didn't make you mad that a nigga beat you in the space?
Niggas on the moon never made me mad. In fact, it made me glad.
Okay.
Niggas love space.
Niggas love space,
Oh,
man.
okay. So did you want to break it down?
Absolutely. We have the first black man to be assigned to a lunar mission.
Yes.
Victor J. Glover.
All right.
It's a black-ass name.
That is a name, yeah.
That's a black-ass name. And he is going to be in addition with assigned to a lunar mission. Victor J. Glover, and they will be part of the Artemis 2 generation.
Absolutely.
So large up, this is our Black Excellence 2.
Give some claps, to Victor.
Come on, man, let's go.
First,
that was the man. I hit the wrong.
But the voicemail. Is that going to be the white people's response to Victor going to the moon? They got you monkey going to the moon. No, shout out Victor Glover.
They send a black man in a black ass space.
You know what's fascinating about that to me is when they go to the moon, while we're chilling here doing everyday things,
yes,
there's going to be niggas on the moon.
That is wild. Yeah.
Like,
you clearly. I don't think you're old enough to get my niggas on the moon thing. Because I made a Gil Scott-Heron reference earlier. Whitey's on the moon. Yeah,
absolutely. That's yeah. So, with that being said,
poor John.
Yes. Oh, is it what he has a lot of editing to do in this episode? No, I think we're good. And we do have. I mean, we could go on for another half hour,
but we have white pages.
Our white pages today.
He recorded himself singing that, and then just messed it up. So now he has to sing it live. Cracks me.
That's hilarious.
I didn't mess it up.
No, he has the drop.
It's still there.
The drop's still there. But I mean, it's him singing, so why not him sing? And for those that are new, we just nicknamed our book. We named the book of the week "The White Pages." Yes. As our we're humorous. I think that was you.
That was me.
Coined our every week we want to bring you a book if you want to learn more.
But if you're from our generation and you remember phone books,
yes,
the White Pages,
yes. But to deepen your understanding about how racism works, today our book is Adam Harris. The State Must Die.
No, the state must provide.
While you're looking at it,
man, and I'm the one who's not supposed to be able to read. Jesus Christ!
I just made my own.
The FBI is about to be like Mr. X.
Oh my God!
The state must die.
Mr. X.
They're just gonna come up to your house with a Is this you?
Oh my God! I'm looking right at you. That's so funny.
Clap, cut, redo.
I'm gonna tell you what's so funny is I was like, that's a bold title. That's a bold title.
The state must die.
Abolition now.
That's gonna be your autobiography.
No, you gotta leave this in. This is hilarious. It's called The State.
Do you want me to do it?
No, let him go.
I can't do it. The state must provide. The state must provide the definitive history of racial inequality in American higher education. The state.
What's next? Brown versus Board of Execution?
Oh my God! Oh, we apologize, Adam. Is his name Adam? Did I mess his name
Adam
up?
Harris. A deep dive into why America's colleges have always been unequal and how to set them right. The State Must Provide is a must-read book to think about the way we can address education inequality in our higher learning institutions.
Oh my God! Woo! Thank you, Adam, and thank you. Yeah, I think that might be. I might have to pass White Pages on to another member.
Here you go.
Another member of This Week in White Supremacy. So,
With that being said,
we
will be live in Mesa, Arizona.
Yes.
At the White Privilege Conference
next week.
And
we have a lot of good, so we can actually take some of the things we didn't talk about to Mesa, Arizona when we do This Week in White Supremacy Live.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing interviews. We're going to be doing hostings. We're going to be doing walkthroughs at clubs. No, I don't know.
Oh, snap.
I don't know what we'll be. But we'll be there.
So we'll be looking like the man when he walked through. Okay, come on.
So holla, if you are in the Phoenix, Mesa, Arizona
It's a parade in your city, yeah.
Let us know the places to eat that are open after 7.
Absolutely. And with that being said, peace. 100, y'all.
The state must die.